Well, I've got your energy stories for the third week of February 2022, and let's start with storage. Georgia Power has indicated it plans to install a long-duration iron-air battery from startup Form Energy and seek regulatory approval later this year. The project may be sized as large as 15 megawatts with 100 hours of duration. With respect to another type of storage, batteries on wheels, Siemens and Ford have collaborated on a bidirectional charging station called the Ford Charge Station Pro for the Ford F-150 Lightning pickup truck. It's certified to the UL 9741 standard and has a peak power rating of 19.2 kilowatts, though it can be derated down to 4.8 kW if the hosting home doesn't have the extra electric capacity. The unit has separate power feeds for both charging the vehicle and powering the house. Sticking with EVs, GM just upped its 2022-23 EV manufacturing targets, planning to boost production this year over sixfold from 7,000 to 46,000 vehicles, and deliver a total of 400,000 by the close of 2023. GM CEO Mary Barra said it has almost 59,000 reservations for the GMC Hummer EV pickups and SUVs, and over 110,000 reservations for the electric Chevy Silverado pickups that it will start producing next year. By the way, if you watched the Super Bowl this past week, you might have noticed there were at least 5 advertisements for electric vehicles, and those ads don't come cheap. So the car companies are clearly making a concerted push to wake people up about this new technology out there. And for our last electric mobility story, the U.S. Departments of Transportation and Energy are making nearly $5 billion available to states to build out a national EV charging network along specific alternative fuel corridors, mostly on the interstate highway system. The total amount available to states in fiscal year 2022 is $615 million, and states will have to submit an EV infrastructure deployment plan in order to access funds. Switching gears, last week we reported on PJM's challenges and delays in addressing its rapidly burgeoning interconnection queue. It's by no means the only grid operator facing such challenges. California's independent system operator released its 20-year transmission outlook early this month, and it noted that to meet decarbonization needs, its starting point calls for as much as 37 gigawatts of battery energy storage, 4 gigawatts of long-duration storage, over 53 gigawatts of utility-scale solar, 2 gigawatts of geothermal, and up to 24 gigawatts of wind. CAISO indicates that in April of last year, it received 373 new interconnection requests in its Cluster 14 open window. Now, with 605 projects totaling 236,225 megawatts, CAISO comments that, quote, "This level of hyper-competition actually creates barriers to moving forward effectively with the resources that do need to be added to the grid, and commandeers precious planning, engineering, and project management resources from the ISO and transmission owners. It appears we have too much of a good thing, and we're going to have to figure out quickly how to deal with these just enormous volumes coming into ISOs all across the country." Speaking of the solar part of that, Auxin Solar requested the U.S. Department of Commerce to investigate whether companies in Southeast Asia are circumventing U.S. anti-dumping and countervailing duties on cells and modules imported from China. Auxin is alleging that assemblers of crystal silicon PV cells and modules in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia are actually employing Chinese-affiliated suppliers and integrated supply chain from China to pull those modules and cells through those Southeast Asian countries and then ship them on to the U.S. The Solar Energy Industries Association has warned that such tariffs, if imposed, could jeopardize installation of up to 18 gigawatts of U.S. solar by next year. Auxin was one of the companies that had asked for an extension of the 201 import tariffs, which the Biden administration confirmed last week will be extended for another 4 years, although bifacial panels will be exempt. And finally, in our cool tech story for this week, Vestas unveiled its V236 15-megawatt turbine with capacity factor exceeding 60% and a swept space of 43,000 square meters. Yep, that's over 10.5 acres. Each turbine can serve about 20,000 households annually, and its 115-meter blade, 377 feet, bests those of GE at 107 meters and Siemens Gamesa at 108. However, it does fall short of Chinese OEM Mingyang's 118-meter blade intended to support its 16-megawatt platform, which was announced last August. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week.